so I am a student at Corbin Intermediate School, and I would like to discuss the development and history of video games. Now, I don't know if you like video games as much as I do, but there is a really rich history for video games. Let's discuss how video games came about. What is thought to be the first game ever created was created by a physicist named William Higginbotham in the year 1958. William Higginbotham created a game similar to Pong that was a tennis game. Eventually, these games became huge. Everybody wanted to play video games. Video games were stuff that every kid wanted to do. It was around the 70s and 80s where video games really started to spark up. In the 70s, we had these big arcades with video games lined up in the arcades. Some of the famous arcade games would be Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Frogger, and Galaga. People would waste quarters for hours and waste so many hours just putting quarters in these machines and playing these games. So many people loved these video games in arcades, but what happened was there was something that came along that drove people crazy that they loved. Video games in your home. It was a crazy idea to these people. Then they came out with this thing called the Atari 2600, where you could play video games like Pac-Man in the convenience of your own house. It was an amazing console that everybody loved. Okay, so Atari was doing great until they made a game called E.T. in the year 1982.
But E.T. was good.
No, it wasn't, Jared. Really, Jared.
I'm sorry.
Really, Jared.
I'm sorry.
Really, Jared. Okay, so E.T. was such a bad game. There was a big desert in California that people would drive by and throw the cartridge out their window into the desert. It was that bad of a game. E.T. also was known to cause the game crash, where game sales were terrible and nobody wanted to play video games. This lasted throughout 1983 to 1985, but this was all about to change. Okay, so after the Atari and the game crash in 1985, a game console came out that was known to bring the entire gaming industry back, thanks to the creator of the game, Shigeru Miyamoto. Shigeru Miyamoto made the video game Super Mario Bros., and it came along with Duck Hunt. Shigeru Miyamoto was known to bring the gaming industry back from the dead.
But Barrett, I thought PC did.
Really, Jared?
Sorry.
Really, Jared?
I'm sorry.
Really, Jared? Okay, so Shigeru Miyamoto is the one who created Super Mario Bros. And also some other titles like The Legend of Zelda. See, I'm wearing the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask t-shirt right. Okay, so the NES was doing really good, but it had a rival. The rival was the Sega Genesis. See, the Sega Genesis was really good and it had a really good game called Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog is a series that's still going strong today, and many of the Nintendo series is still going strong today.
Gotta go fast, right?
Gotta go fast! That is one of the things from Sonic the Hedgehog. He was known to go really, really fast. And everybody loved this about the Sonic games, is how fast-paced the Sonic games were. And everybody wanted to get a Sega Genesis so they could play all of these Sonic games, because they were known to be really good. Okay, Jared's going to be your narrator now. I'm the cameraman. Your last narrator, Barrett.
So, us gamers, we had the console and we had the arcade, but the real crazy thing is making it mobile. Mobile gaming was a very crazy idea. The Game Boy was first hit the market in 1985. Well, we had games mobile, and we still use cartridges, and the Game Boy is still used today, so I have a Game Boy Pocket. But the first Game Boy was just the Game Boy. It was great. The Game Boy play around, but the Game Boy, it brought one of my favorite games, Pokemon. Now, Pokemon had Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, and it was fun because people could play up the bus, but you had to have lighting because you sometimes can't see it because it's so gray. And it
The
was,
beautiful grayscale.
yes. The Game Boy also evolved over the years. We have Game Boy, the Game Boy Pocket, the Light, the SP, the Advance, Micro. But we had other competitors like the Sega and the Tigercom and Blockbuster, if you believe me.
Now, we had 2D games, okay? We had the 2D side scrollers, we had the 2D platformers, we had all these 2D games, okay? So then people thought, hey, why don't we take gaming to the third dimension? So then that's when we started getting some new gaming consoles, including the PlayStation and one of my favorites, the N64. You see, with the N64 and PlayStation, you were able to play some 3D games. Some of the most famous 3D games would include Spyro's Adventure, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, and Super Mario 64.
What about E.T. on 3D?
That is 2D, and it was terrible.
So in the early 2000s, PC gaming is becoming more famous, and really famous games back then was World of Warcraft and Half-Life. Here's footage from Oblivion. Arrives is playing PlanetSide 2 on the PC right now.
We don't own any of it.
We do not own this footage.
After the PlayStation and the N64 and PC gaming started getting big, we had the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox. So the PlayStation 2 is known to be the most sold console of all time. Also, after that, we had the Nintendo Wii that came out, which was known to be really cheap. It was about $100 per console, which when the other consoles were insane prices. After that, we ended up getting the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Because of the price of the Wii, Nintendo Wii's were basically everywhere. See, our school library has one. We're here to talk to you about modern day gaming now. I like how you sort of like go back, you know? Go back. Okay, so we're going to talk to you about modern day gaming now. With modern day gaming, we have things like the Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Wii U, and Oculus Rift, and still going strong today.
The PC.
Yes, this is a PC gamer right here.
Yay.
This is what PC gamers look like.
No.
Yes. This is the face of a PC gamer. Okay, so we have the console war still going on about which console is better. It all started a long time ago with the Sega Genesis and NES. All of the fanboys and fangirls fighting over which console is better.
PC.